Hello and welcome to Release Your Blocks with Victoria Bond. Today we have a very special guest, Sue Nicholson. Thank you for being here today, Sue.
Hello, Victoria. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. And we've been trying to jump on this podcast for quite a while, but you were stuck in Australia because of lockdown.
Yeah, stuck in Australia. Took 5 weeks. Kept praying upstairs, please, can you get me a flight? Then out the blue, Air New Zealand phoned us up. Out the blue. Like, we had 5 cancellation flights. And you know what it is, Victoria. Things happen for a reason. You know, I believe in that. And when the time is right, then we just got to understand, you know, this over on the other side, don't have any clocks. There's no time frame for them. Mm-hmm. But down here, we run by time. Like, we had a meeting. We've got to set up a meeting in that time. You know, and it doesn't always run at that time, you know, and then people get stressed out because they go, oh, I had a meeting, I'm 10 minutes late. Mm-hmm. Well, on the other side, it's like, chill out. We're doing what we can at this moment in time, which you can't see, but we've got the ball rolling. So just chill out, take a breath, do a meditation, and we're on to it. So that's what happened. And then came back and then was stuck in quarantine for 2 weeks in a room of 4 walls, and they actually should give out marriage guidance counselling.
Make or break. So for those of you who are tuning in and you're not sure who Sue is, she is a psychic medium. So you have been on TV. So you were on an amazing Sensing Murder. It was legit my favorite program ever. And also you have written a couple of books. One of them I loved, and I actually cried the whole way through it. I got that emotional. That was the call, a call from the other side about your childhood and really about how you used to talk to spirit on your phone in the basement. It made me today's spirit, because you know I'm a psychic medium too, and I get these hits, and I was like, I visualized that part of the book, and I was like, oh, that's right, that's when I fell in love with you.
My little phone. That's why when I say to people, I'm just a switchboard operator for the other side, you know, so medium means in the middle. So I'm listening to them, the call comes in, they pass it to me, and I pass it to the person who's in front of me, or an audience, whoever, you know what I mean? And that's the way I look at it. And it was a little plastic phone. It had no inners in, you know, it was empty on the bottom. And I swore it used to ring. You know, it had no thing. It was plastic, like from a $2 shop or whatever. I used to pick it up and go, hello? And I used to hear them talking and go, okay, yeah. So it was interesting.
And this was over in England, and now you're in New Zealand. So we're very lucky to have you over here. And so one of the questions I actually have for you is, one thing, as a medium myself, and I've really just started tapping into these gifts. It's definitely, I'm a long line of mediums, we're all religious, so it was very much like hidden. And like when I was watching Sensing Murder, it was quite deep. There was some dark stuff. So what did you do to like deal with all of that?
You know, when I look back at it, Victoria, I think, how did I do that? It was the most challenging ever part of my journey. It really, really was. I was asked to do the last series, right? And I really had to think about it, and I turned them down, right? They only done 3 because things happen with the producers, because the other ones went into bankrupt, whatever, you know. But I was on there for 10 years. I'd done it for 10 years. Wow. And the pressure of it, the pressure. You imagine, right? And first of all, I get a phone call, and they say, you've got to be at the airport at 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay. You haven't got a clue where you're going. And people would say, well, you should know where you're going. You're a psychic medium. I didn't want to know. And sometimes I would be on that plane and I get the person coming in already. And then, so a taxi would be there for me. They'd set up a hotel, like a conference room or somewhere. So I'd just have a small table, glass of water. They'd have all the cameras and the producers and everything, lights in your face. And then they'll go, okay, setting it all up. And they go, okay, ready, action. And you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready. And they slide a photo, and the back is all blacked out. You can't see. So you can't see anything. And I'll be going, okay, so I put my hand on it. And I go, whoever's up there, you better come through because I'm looking an idiot sitting here, and the apprehension. So I start putting a profile together. Sometimes I would go to the last part of the life before I would get to the beginning. Do you know what I mean? But it's coming in all angles and pictures. I see very much, I have hearing, seeing, feeling, but my clairvoyance, clairvoyance and clairsentience, well, all of it really, they'd be showing me pictures, the pictures coming in, and I'd be going, and sometimes it was like, I would actually be in the scene. So I'm in the room with them and I'm looking around. So I'm an observer. And then they'd take me to where the last part was, or I'd feel gravel under my feet. I'd feel gravel. It's a gravel road, or I'm on dirt, or I'm on a dirt track or whatever. And everybody's sitting there looking at you, not saying a word. And then they go,
Oh,
okay. The first one, what's her name? Luana Williams, in Tauranga. Nobody knew because it was a new film company. They didn't know what to expect from the mediums. I mean, it was like, whoa. So you got no information, you got nothing. And it is really about trust and letting go of fear. And the biggest part is, what if I'm not right? And I always thought, well, if I'm not right, they'll tell me and say, you're on the wrong track. Honestly, you're way out here, because it's a waste of their time, right? And they've got all the information from the police. And I always used to see this person sitting in the back of the room, up the corner. I used to think, what are they doing? They're checking off what I'm saying. And I bring new information, which means I'd have that. And then they'd ask the police about it, or the parents, or whoever. And then they go, okay, we've done that part. Now is a map. And they roll a big map out in front of me. I don't even know where north, south, west, east is, It's like, whoa. Yeah. So it was and it affected me quite badly because I couldn't get the images out of my head, of why people would stab somebody 39 times when she's pregnant.
Yeah, and I know some of the other mediums as well. I think they experienced the same things. Did you actually catch up with the other mediums and like build a rapport, because you went through the same experience, didn't you?
No, they do their own thing. I mean, when we had like Qantas Media Awards, because we won the awards, and I said we would win 3 awards, and we did. I said to them, we're going to win 3. And they went, I don't think so. And I said, the best documentary, best whatever, and something else. And I was round the back with the first one that announced, and I heard it say that we've just won another award. I said, well, there's going to be another one, because I said 3. And anyway, so we did win 3. No, not really. We'd meet as in like, not on a personal level. It was just that way, and we didn't discuss things. We didn't discuss any cases whatsoever. No.
Well, you weren't allowed to either. And I suppose the last thing that you want to do is get together and discuss a case, because it's so energy taxing as well.
Never discussed a case. And this is the issue when it first came out. And it was really annoying to think that people are calling you a liar, that you have information. And I said, I will go on national television with a lie detector. Ask me whatever you want. I know, I can only speak for myself. I know what I did was what I did. And also, I channeled whatever was going to come through.
Yeah, well, you're authentic. And I think that's the thing, is especially being a medium, like not just because you've been on TV and you've got the books and you're literally a public figure, especially in New Zealand and Australia, but not only that, it's like being a medium in general, everyone is suspicious. Like I used to be like, oh my God, that's a medium. I walk into a room and I'm like, why are people nervous if they know that I do readings and stuff? And they go, they think I'm reading them. And I'm like, I'm not reading you. And they go, is someone here right now? And I'm like, well, I'm not tapping in because I've got this. I'm really lucky that I literally get to choose when I'm tapping in it or not. I've got really good boundaries around spirit as well. So,
well, I had to learn that, because I'm not going to go out and see every Tom, Dick and Harry in the street. I thought, what's the point in that? That's a waste of energy. And I said to them, when I'm working, and that's it. So and people, know who I am, and they go, "You're reading my mind." And I said, "Your mind's very private, and I wouldn't want anybody to read my mind, and I'm not a mind reader."
And I don't want to read your mind because I'm
I don't,
actually a human being as
because if
well,
I did,
having
there'd be
experience.
very strange things, you know what I mean? And so I mean, there has been times where it's been so bad, the bullying has been, it's nearly taken me over the edge. That's
I
how
can
bad it
imagine,
was.
because I remember watching Sensing Murder, and I remember like in awe because obviously it hadn't landed that I was a medium yet. Like I've been obviously hiding my gifts, and I just to watch you guys going, whoa. And I remember sitting in a room with someone and people going, oh, whatever, this is all kind of made up. And I go, it's legit not. The thing is, the reason why you know it's not is why the hell would these people be bothered doing that? And it's same with when people say there's lots of fake mediums. Sure, there's some fake mediums, but why would anyone be bothered to go to the depths of finding out? Like, it's not even worth it.
I can just about, well, you know, I couldn't do Zoom. I had to get my husband to show me. I can switch a, you know, iPad or computer on. I have nothing with computer, nothing. I don't
stalking people.
Where to look. I'm thinking, I've got more things to do than that. I know how to do online shopping. That's one thing. I do know very well how to do that, but I don't know how to check people out or what. I wouldn't even know how to.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
So and this is I want to actually put this out there to our audience right now and say, if you do have these mediumship gifts, and if you're reaching out to someone like Sue, who does amazing like teaching about this stuff in different ways. I've been to one of your day sessions as well, or if you're coming to me and doing magnificent mediumship, like it's really about owning yourself. It's actually about being authentic and going, you know what, if there are haters out there, and if I'm going to get crucified for this, like I did all those other lives, then you know, like if you're too worried about what other people think, then don't even start. But if you know that you've got a life purpose and to really stepping in and making a big difference, and whatever that means, like we both know we're not just mediums, we're both life coaches as well. We both have had big experiences in our lives, and we're here to help people. It's a bigger purpose. It's the biggest thing. So for those of you who are worrying about the haters, just don't. What would you say to people, Sue?
Well, I just think people are never going to understand us. Right? There are people who will like us and hate us. And Spirit says to me one day, they said, listen, are there people that you don't like? And I went, yeah. And I said, well, it works both ways. And I went, oh, yeah, okay. So what energy we put out there, I always tell people, our thoughts are not contained in our head. They go out to the universe. And we draw in whatever we are worried about or concerned about. Well, we pull that into us. So it's like saying, well, you know, if there are people like that, am I going to give them energy? Am I going to worry about them? I have had to learn this quite in depth, really. And I think I don't know them. I don't want to know them. They don't know me. They know nothing about me, but I will send love and light to them, go away. And I concentrate on the people that are around me that, you know, but look, you know, the thing, Victoria, is you can have a bad builder, plumber, electrician, whatever. There are out there. But what sometimes that really annoys me, I have to do a lot of, you know, when people have had readings from these so-called psychic mediums and they work on ego, I have to clear their mess up because of the damage. Now, you don't know who's sitting in front of you. When somebody comes, they could be suicidal. And I work with suicide people, families that have had somebody pass over, and people who sit in front of me and don't want to be here anymore. Now, if you go into a medium, psychic medium, and they're coming from a different spot, ego, this is to do with compassion, listening to people, helping people, and going away feeling like, wow, I have a direction now. I feel I can cope with my life. Honestly, to tell people they've got 6 months to live and there's nothing wrong with it because they got cancer of the uterus and they're not going to live for 6 months. And that person is still alive now after 12 years.
And I think this is why every single psychic medium should probably do life coaching as well. I've had to clean up messes as well, probably not to the extent of you because you've been doing this for much longer than myself, but I've had people ring me up in tears saying, I've been told to move here. I've been told to do this. I've been told to stay with my partner. I don't want to. I've been told this. And I'm like, hang on a minute. I've never told anyone what to do. I have said, this is a possibility. Now, these are, you have choice. We're humans. What is the universal law? We have free will and choice.
Yeah. And that's what I say to people. I say, everything I'm telling you now is coming from a very different perspective, right? It's like, look at a bird. You've got a bird on the ground and it can see so much, but if a bird takes off, it can see the greater picture, and I say, I'm just a bird taking off, looking at a different picture, right? That's what, and I'm sending it down to you. I can see this over there. But it's your choice whether you take on board what your angels is. I work with the angels and the guides and all of their angels and guides. So we have a big crew behind me on the other side, and it's up to them whether they take it on board or not. Because everything is free will, free speech,
100%.
Unless you're in China and you can't talk up. But free thoughts and things like that. So yeah, it is. Everything is by choice.
It is by choice. And I think one of the things that I've noticed with myself and learning over the last few years is it's really about the trust and faith that you said before, having the trust and faith. So my first reading, I was absolutely petrified, but Spirit had been telling me, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this. I had the cards in my hand. I was shaking. I had somebody who I said, can I practice on you? Because I trusted her because I was a hairdresser for 20 years and she was one of my clients and I knew I had to do this reading. So then they said, put down the cards, Victoria. And I was like, what? I put down the cards and the next minute I said, look, I'm sorry. I just have to tell you what's in my head. And I feel like I'm the biggest liar in the world. And I said, there's a man there that standing there, looks like the guy from Gone from the Wind. He has got that moustache and a little smirk. There's a child here. They're this height, that height, da, 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 da. I told her this massive big story thinking she's going to turn around and say, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. And she said, that was my uncle, they're my cousins. And she told me this big story. And I went, holy shit, I'm a real medium. And from that moment, I've never doubted that Spirit will come through, but it's actually, you've done this since you're a little girl. For me, I had, but it's nearly like I'd either blocked it. And that's why a lot of people think, oh, I'm 30. I'm not a medium, am I? And I'm like, well, actually, you do have gifts and capacities. And if you open them up, if you trust, if you have faith and you know how to do the thing,
that's right. Because we all have it. We are born with psychic abilities, but it's up to us whether we want to open it up or not. So we are psychic beings having a human connection. We're not humans having a psychic connection. That's very different. And once you tap into it and start working it and trusting those inner feelings, because we have the emotions, the heart, the soul, and then you've got the logical with the head. And I say to people, if something doesn't feel right, rule of thumb is don't do it. If it feels right, then go with it. So you got to go with more when you're working in this area, go with more the feelings. And you cannot find a logical, not a logical explanation, because you think, when I'm reading, sometimes I go, oh my God, that sounds so stupid. Spirit will go, is a reading for you or them? And I go, them. They say, well, carry on then. They can be quite strict with me when I'm losing and I'm going, that sounds stupid. And they said, well, it is to you, but not to that person.
Exactly. Real funny story. So one day I was doing these, and when Spirit pops through and you're talking to a friend and you're like, oh my God, I've got this message for a friend. That happened to me a lot. And then one day a friend goes, oh my God, can you please do a reading for me? And I was like, no. I was like, literally, no, I'm doing some work over here. I can't do a reading for you. And then I went, oh, hang on a minute. Sorry, there's someone here in my room. And then I was trying to describe, okay, so I think, did he have a white beard? Did he have this? Did he like red? I was describing because all I could see was bloomin' Santa. So all I could see, I was like, they're showing me Santa so I can get these different traits. And then eventually I said, look, you know what? I'm sorry. All I can see is Santa and I've got to do some work. And she burst out crying and she goes, my dad used to dress up as Santa every year and that's the biggest thing we miss. And I was like, another lesson, trust what you're seeing is never going to make sense to you. Just say it.
Because I think the hardest part is the fear of what if I'm wrong. might look stupid.
I'm a
Now, we
fraud.
can get some, so I see things and I can see things and they go, no, no. And then they phone me up and they go, oh my God, yes. I listened to the reading back, you were right. But I'm not going to say, oh, I'm really sorry. But I said, okay, I know what I'm seeing. I know what I'm being told. I just have to let that go and it will make sense to you. But at the moment, I'm seeing beyond what the physical eyes can see, you know, and that's the way I work. You know, everybody works differently, but
And I
that's the
think
way.
it's that trust and that, like, I know now, I used to be like, oh no, I hope I got it right. And I'm like, of course I got it right, because I am channeling from the highest frequency, my guides, and of course my ancestors and my angels, and I do a lot of light coding, a lot of light language. I channel a lot of that. It's just something that's come in for me over the last few years. But I know that I go away with my head held high because I trusted deeply in my soul and in spirit. So that's the same as you, which is beautiful.
You've always going to get some people who will try and test you out because it's their issues, not ours. You know, they have an issue with us and they just want to say load of rubbish and all of this because they don't like you. But why come to it for a reading with me when you have no intentions of listening to what I'm saying, but rubbish me?
Yeah, I'm not available for anyone like that. That's why I charge extra high.
When they book an appointment, that's when they start. So they're very few and far between now. I used to have it when I started and I used to feel terrible. And I thought, get lost, you know. I've got the power to say, I don't have to talk to you anymore, you know. And your attitude, the attitude of some people, the way they treated me was disgusting. And I don't stand for it anymore. I'm sorry. That's the way
No way.
Don't like it.
I've actually got to say it's so funny. So one day I was like, but just before I was coming to your I can't remember what the day class was, but I came to a day class for you.
Psychic workshop,
a psychic workshop in New Plymouth, and I went with one of my best friends, and I was so excited because I knew I was a medium. I'd been to your show, been to one of Calvin's or a few of Calvin's shows, read the book. It was all coming in. I knew it. I was already doing it, like, oh my God, but I didn't know how to navigate it because I've been brought up Catholic. So I was like, how do I do this? I've been told this is wrong. So long story short, I came to your thing and I grabbed you. I was like, so I have to ask you a question as you're walking on by. And what had actually happened was 2 days before I went to bed and I said, show me how I read, show me how I'm psychic. And then I went to bed and I was half awake, half asleep. And I went into this freaking kind of fit, right? It sounds crazy, but it's like I was elevated and I was doing the Matrix. Like it's like the thing went into my head and I downloaded all this information. And I kind of came out of it and I went, was that bad? Was that good? I didn't feel any way about it, but I felt like I had just downloaded a way of reading. So that's weird. So when I saw you 2 days later, I went, so, and I told you the story and you said, and I go, I asked for this. And you said to me, Victoria, you get what you ask for. Just be careful on how you ask for it. And you walked off. And I was like, thank you, sir. Because I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And what I loved so much about that as well was when we came into your room, everyone's sitting there because like, Sue Nicholson, whoa, we sensing murder, like this lady she knows her shit. And then you said, look, this is the way I work. I'm here to teach you today. So I'm asking spirit to actually step out and only to help us in the way of learning. And I was like, wow. So you actually taught me in that session because I was just starting out. This is about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 4 years. I was starting, I've got a photo of us too. I was starting out and I needed to know boundaries because, and this is what I teach with people now, is having boundaries around spirit. I'm not available at 3 o'clock in the morning for someone to knock on the door and say, can I have a cup of tea? I'd go, F off, please. I'm sleeping.
Yeah, you've got to do that. You know, because we still have a life beyond what we do. Do you understand? And we have to balance that. You know, we have to balance it. If I may offend my pot range or whatever, and my friends don't say, oh, nothing. They know their boundaries. But if something comes in, I go, they're telling me this, that, and the other, and you need to look at this and da. And I work that way because I need my own space as well. I need my own time, you know, because this is very demanding. It is very demanding and absolutely drains me. By the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, and also boundaries, I reckon, around not just spirit, but around people and friends and
No, it's
family.
around
Because
people.
people go, hey, can you just give me a quick reading? Can you do this? And now everyone knows that I'm just not available for that.
No,
I can't do that because I have a life. Sometimes I'm just Victoria and I'm just a mum.
yeah,
Sometimes I'm interviewing on a podcast, sometimes I'm teaching mediumship or doing a reading or doing a coaching session. And these are like these different facets of who we be. So having those
yeah.
boundaries. So I've got to ask you a family question. So with your family, because I know how long have you been with your husband for? You've been with him for a long time, right?
I married him in 1977, so 43, 44 years.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think I read some stuff about him in your book, but I've been with my husband for nearly 20 years. So
yeah.
We progress obviously with the skill and our what we're meant to do, our life's purpose. So how has he supported you, and what is his kind of interesting points of view about you being a reader?
Well, he can't lie to me, that's a fact. I go, do you want to say that again? Do you want to recap that again? Or do you want me to tell you the whole story? He goes, oh. Well, when I met him, right, nobody knew what I could do. And, so I knew I was going to marry him. When I was a little girl, they said to me, you're going to marry Stephen. I thought, okay, didn't look for Stephen. I got engaged to somebody called Roy, and it was the worst thing. And they said to me, I got engaged to him, I was with him 4 years, and they said, he's never going to marry you. And 6 weeks before my marriage, because they said he's cheating on you and he's going to marry you. 6 weeks before my marriage, I had my wedding dress, brides, everything done. He turned around, he says, I wasn't going to turn up at the church. I'm not going to marry you. I'm with someone else now. And he married her. I was heartbroken. But it was a windy, cold English night, November the 1st, I remember. And I couldn't be bothered going out. Now, a year had passed since then. And Spirit says to me, you need to go out tonight. And I thought, I can't be bothered. And my friend phoned me up. She says, we're going out. Come on. I was 21. And I said, I can't be bothered. No, he kept pushing me out. So I went. And I met him there. But I didn't go out with him for 2 weeks because my friend met his friend in the nightclub. And then he kept asking about me. And then I met him. And then the second time I met him, I knew I was going to marry him. Stephen, that's Stephen. And I never even thought then. And he's a really gentle soul and everything. And so anyway, then we got married, and he came home one day. In the day, I'd had my first daughter, which I knew I was having 3 girls. They said every time. I didn't need a scan. They just tell me what I'm going to have. Anyway, so I had my first daughter, and she was 6 months old. And he said to me, Spirit said that day, you're going to a faraway place. And I went, what? And they said, it's called New Zealand. And I only knew New Zealand butter and New Zealand lamb. I didn't know anything else about New Zealand.
I've got goosebumps.
And I went, really? He came in that night and he said, I've got something to tell you. I've applied for a job in New Zealand. And I just looked at him. He said, but there's 50 applicants. I don't know. So he had 3 interviews because he had to go to the New Zealand embassy in town because of the immigration and everything. He says, I don't know if I get it. And I said, you will have that job. And within 6 months we left and we came here. So I've been here since 1979, December 1979. And so he didn't know what I could do. And so I just carried on I had my gift where I was just doing normal jobs, working in an office or, just doing normal jobs. But it was always there, and Spirit kept saying to me, there'll be a time when you're ready. But I had young children and I couldn't do that of what I was doing. I couldn't travel and do things. And anyway, I had a job, and then Spirit says to me on the Monday night, they said, by tomorrow at 8:00, you will not have a job and you're going to work for us. And I went, what? Anyway, 8:00, the phone rang, and it was this company I was contracting to, and they said, we're really sorry. We have to let you go. And I just went, oh my God, panic coming, got a mortgage, 3 kids, And anyway, I said to Spirit, now what do I do? Now, I'm a trained massage therapist. I do Swedish massage. I do Chinese massage. I do teach Indian hot oil massage and things like that. I'm a Reiki master teacher. And I got all this and house blessings. And I was doing a couple of readings for friends, and I thought, oh God. And they said, you're going to do this now full time. And they says to me, we want you to get some cards. And they showed me what they wanted me to get. And I'm going, okay, well, what do I do with these? Nobody knows I can do it. Told me where to place this card on a notice board. And I went, nobody walks through that entrance. And they said, place it there, one card. And that was on the Tuesday. On the Friday, I had a call. And she phones me up. She goes, hi, I know her name, Fiona. And I went, yes. And she said, oh, I've got your card here. And I'm not, it's weird. I took it off the board and I never go in that entrance. I never. It keeps jumping out at me and I needed to phone you. And I went, oh, okay. So I said, what do you want? Do you want a massage? Do you want Reiki? Do you think, please don't have to read it.
I know that feeling.
Oh, do you want a reading? And she goes, no, I don't want any of that. And I thought, hey. She said, I'm a newspaper reporter and I want to do your life story.
No way.
And I went, is this a joke? And she said, no, can I come around to your home Tuesday at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock? And I went, yeah, okay. And anyway, it was 10 minutes before her time. Spirit says to me, she's running late and she can't come till about 2:10. And phone rang. I said, Fiona, you're running late and you'll be here at 2:10. And she goes, oh my God, did the office phone you? I went, no, Spirit did. And that was the opening line.
I called from the other side.
Told me. And she came in and she interviewed me and I gave her a reading and the phones went red hot. But there was no number on there. There was no number. There was no
number.
So no, because if it's an editorial, they don't give you phone numbers out. She said, phone me up. She goes, my the office has been going mad. Can we print your number in the next Tuesday? And I went, yeah, no problem. Well, that was it. But before that, when I lost my job, Steve came home and I said, I've got something to tell you. And he goes, what? I said, I've lost my job. He goes, oh my God. I said, but I'm working now. I see dead people and I talk to them. I've had it since I was young. And he goes, oh, I always knew there was something about you not going to put my finger on. And it wasn't until out the blue, out of all of the New Zealand, the Ninox Productions contacted me. I didn't even know where I was getting. I didn't even know what a cold case was. I thought, what the hell is that? Out the blue. And it wasn't until I was on telly that Steve, my friends and my children saw what I could do. They're going, wow. Oh my God, we didn't know you could do that. And neither did I. Not at that extent. You know what I mean?
I mean, you do everything quite boldly, don't you? We've got to. You don't do things like. It's really kind of the reason why I ask is because my husband also a beautiful gentle soul, and I've been with him for 20 years, so yeah. A little bit less, but since I was 16. And one day I said to him, hey, Luke, can you take the babies? Because I had 2 little babies, and this is about the time I came to your workshop and stuff. And I said, can you take them into the room because I've got so-and-so coming over? And he goes, why is so-and-so coming over? And I go, I can't tell you why, but can you just take the babies into the room? And he goes, are you okay? Because I was going through quite a lot of depression as well, because I was going through this spiritual awakening. And he just goes, you have to tell me what's going on. And I said, you can't stop me, but her daughter's Emma's been coming through for the last year. I've been wanting to give her presents and do this and do this and do this. And the signs were hitting me so hard that I was nearly falling over. It was ridiculous. And then he said, oh, well, that makes sense. It makes a lot more sense than you wanted about her all the time. So she came over, I sat her down, I gave her this incredible straightforward channel from her daughter to her. She sat there and went, whoa. And so I think once they see it, they don't need, my husband doesn't necessarily understand it, but he
doesn't understand it. But I think it's rubbing off on him as well, because he said to me when just the 2 days before when we were in quarantine, he goes, wouldn't it be strange? He said, if they're going to be COVID in Auckland. I said, stop, cancel and clear. And we came and he goes, see, told you. I said, you want to do my my job now or something. It was
Lucky
so
you
fun.
got back. Lucky you got back when you got back.
We would have been in quarantine again. We would have had to stay in the hotel. It's like, oh God, no. But
At least you're in
you
your
know,
4-story
I
house
mean,
now.
yeah, that's right. But Spirit told me about COVID. I mean, we all know the world's not going to, but they did tell me how we could get rid of COVID. It's a long story, but
Hey,
nothing
any producers listening to this podcast?
told me how, and it's so simple, but I won't get into it. Don't have to have all these injections and things. People do what they want to do. We do what we want to do, we have free choice, but have the injection or not the injection. But if I came out with that, they'd block me up, because it's way out, but it is true and it is what it is and it could work. Yeah.
Well, you can tell me once we stop.
I'll tell you, yeah, another
Tell me
day.
after.
Yeah.
Wow, so amazing. Just before we went into the recent lockdown in New Zealand now, while we're recording this, for those that are listening, we are currently in lockdown in our homes in New Zealand. And that day I was sitting there and I was going, holy shit, I've got anxiety right now. Why do I have anxiety? What is going on? Oh no, why am I feeling this? Because I haven't felt this way for about 1.5 years. And then boom. And I was like, it wasn't even mine. I was just tapping into the stuff that was happening.
Because,
so a lot of my clients,
we sense energy, that's why I think I went out to the dairy last night. It was like, I said to my husband, it's like doomsday. It's doomsday out there. And he said, oh no, it's weird energy. And it's weird. It's weird energy because there's like this mist that hanging over us in Aotearoa, and it's like this mist of fear, and people are breathing it in.
I 100% know what you're talking about. I went for a walk the other day and I could feel that mist of fear. Like I legit was going, there's a mist of fear. I've actually talked about it in all my groups in the last kind of 3 days. And what I had to do is I had to lift, you're going to think this is crazy, but I had to lift it up off me, lift it up off my children. I lifted it up off my house. I actually put a dome over my house, and because I was going, I couldn't breathe. And then I went, okay. And I got all my clients and all my groups and I lifted the mist off them. And then when we did a group coaching, I said, guys, there's like this heavy mist and we need to lift it up now. And then we did a healing and stuff with rose quartz.
Yeah. And that's why all the light workers need to come together, because there's so much negativity, but there's less light workers. There's more negative than the light, but we just have to keep plodding along, and that's all we can do, and working on our own selves to radiate that energy out into the world. 100%. Everybody we come across and everybody we touch, is trying to lift them up as well, so they can then rebound that onto other people, and do that. And that's the way it is, and see this getting better. But I mean, it's changed forever. And they told me yesterday, Spirit says, when people are going over now, a lot of people are not going to reincarnate now. They're not coming back here. They've had enough. It's like, I'm not coming back, because the world is changing, not that we want to, the way we don't want it to be, basically.
That actually fascinates me, because I've been doing quite a few readings recently, and because I've got a program called Quantum Key. So what I'm doing is I'm actually bringing a lot of light codes through to help other people activate. So then we've got more light workers that are actually doing the job, not hiding. And I actually had a spirit come through and I went, whoa, your mum isn't coming back.
No, they're not coming
and she
back.
told me, she's like, I ain't coming back. And she basically, I had this energy feeling that she's going to go and be a guide. So a lot of people are going to be becoming more guides than they are actually reincarnating. And a lot of them are doing that. So that you're doing a lot of confirming for me here.
And that's right, because why, yesterday I was saying to her, well, why do we want to come back here? What is there? Because we've just been through all that. And why are we going to come back again? Our souls have had enough, so that's what's going to happen, but yeah, it is
what I love, what I've been really drawn to in the last couple of weeks is watching David Attenborough, and
The
He's on
yeah.
Netflix with the planet, but he's also, there's this documentary and he's telling us how we can heal Gaia, how we can heal this beautiful world by, you know, cutting down on eating so much meat and respecting it. And it was just beautiful. I sat there in tears the whole time going, come on, people.
Quite interesting, because I noticed when we were let out of quarantine last Sunday, late afternoon, it was like, wow, you know, looking around, I got quite disorientated. I'm thinking, we take all this for granted. We take it all, we just walk by, you know, the grass and the trees and the flowers. And I was in a taxi looking around at everything going, wow, you know, and we need to waken up and open our eyes to what we do have around us, not be pulled into this fear factor that everybody has, you know.
It's like being stuck in the 4D. It's nearly like people are trying to get to this 5D energy, but they're stuck in their shadows, and their shadows are becoming reality because, you know, people go, and I'm like, you know what, guys, if you want to be in this 5D energy and be this beautiful human, you know, having this, like I said, your spirit, having a human experience, it's time for you to open your heart. It's time for you to get some rose quartz. I know rose quartz is one of your favorites. You've got a big one on your finger right now. And bring the love around us. And that doesn't mean by over giving. It means by coming, like you said before, coming into ourselves and basically filling up our cup and having so much overflow for the world and the cosmos and each other.
I know, right? And that's what we need to do. There's so much doom and gloom that we have to try and keep our own levels higher.
Our frequency, right? So our vibration is like zzz.
Everything is frequency, vibration, and energy. Everything, everything around us is energy and vibration, but it's at a lower frequency vibration. Do you know what I mean? So everything, So, you know, we just got to keep plodding along, keep going, educating the people that come in front of us or around us, and they may not understand at that time, but it's how we're going to plant a seed, and once we plant that seed, how we're going to nurture it. Yeah,
absolutely. I love that so much. And the other thing I wanted to say to you as well is what I notice with my coaching and my intuitive abilities is people around me waking up. So my sister now is a medium, literally, who gets paid like all the time. She actually had a reading with you recently. And these people around me are waking up and they're coming and they're getting, it's like that they're taking off these layers, right? And they're going, can you tell me what? So I feel like people's superpowers and their DNA is being activated for now. How do you feel about that?
No, that's right. Yeah, there's awakening, but it's still hard for people because of we've been bombarded with negative things. The other thing Spirit just says to me, because they're talking to me while I'm talking to you, and it happened when was it? Tuesday, before we got locked down. My grandson said, "Oh, Nana, have you seen that horror movie?" I said, "One, let me tell you now, when you look at horror movies or all this stuff, you are giving permission for the other side to come in on a lower energy vibration."
Yes, I agree.
And he goes, "Really?" I said, "You're showing them, I'm okay with these demons or whatever." And guess what? He phoned me up and said, "Oh my God, Nana, can you explain this to me? I was out of my body." I said, "It's astral travel. You were out of body experience." He said, I could see myself. I was rising above, went down the hallway, went into the living room, and there's this demon standing in there. I said, "I told you, you are inviting them in." He said, "I'm not watching them anymore." He said, "It was the most evil thing I've ever seen." He said, "I shot back into my body. I said, you need to cleanse your house now." So I should tell them, you know, do cleanse the house and do all that. And do not watch that stuff anymore. I'm telling you, because you're inviting them in.
And those movies are created in this kind of 4D reality from the writers and the producers and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're buying into their reality. I clear demons. I'm an energy clearer first, basically, and then a medium, because I understand the importance of being a clear channel, like hard out. So I do that as well. And I help children. So I love that you do that. One thing that you said to me, and it's funny because the resonating, that we've got so much resonating here. As you're talking, I'm like, oh my gosh. When I actually was in one of your shows once, and this just came to me before, and I asked you a question, and it was about the girl who had actually came through in that reading when I told the lady about what was happening, what I just before. So I actually asked you about that, which is kind of funny, and you wouldn't answer my question because I was trying to ask you a question about her and the feathers and stuff, but you like basically cut through it all. You looked at me and you said, you do what I do, how I do it, something like that. Like, you are like me, you do what I do, how I do it, like similar. And I went, my sister was in the back and so was my mum, and I was like, shut because I was like being, and I was like, oh, so the question is, and you went, no, you are. So obviously I was meant to get that message, like I am, you're going to be doing this stuff. And I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was thinking about something funny. It was so funny. I was lying in bed this morning because I'm planning shows again on a tour, and anyway, there was this time. So I see spirit. Sometimes they'll show me, as opaque and black and white or whatever, or like not as solid as this one. I'm on the stage, and I go, I can see a man just by the curtains here. And I'm going, come on, I described him to a T. I said, he's got these old-fashioned corduroy trousers on, a jumper that his mother must have knitted him, thick glasses, like old-fashioned glasses, and he really needs a good haircut. And they're all looking, and I said, I don't know what's wrong with him. I walked over, I'm feeling him, and he's the person who works.
Oh my god, that's
anyway, and I go, I've got my mic on so they can still hear. I said, come out. And he's looking at me in shock. And I said, I'm touching him over all the way down his back. And I'm touching him. I said, he's really solid. And he goes, excuse me, I work here.
Oh my god, I'm like trying not to cry.
I said, okay, no problem, carry on. In the audience, oh my god.
They would have been in hysterics. Where was this? Was this in New Plymouth?
I can't remember Auckland.
Oh my freaking god.
See, I see all the stage people before I go on. He wasn't there before, so he came in to do the lighting thing and everything. And I looked over, I thought,
wow, spirit is very clear today. I've got it right down. Oh, that's so funny.
But I felt him up and down to his backside.
You're lucky you didn't get done for anything.
And I just said he had old-fashioned corduroy trousers and a jumper. He looks like his mother's knitting.
And he needs a haircut.
He's like one of these, like, I don't know, really old-fashioned, but in his 40s, but he looked like 60 or something.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh my God, that was embarrassing.
That is funny though. And what I love about you, and I've got to say, is you're so down to earth, you're so real, you're so personable, and you are so freaking funny. Like, you are legit. I remember, I think it was in the show, like I was just cracking up. I've been to other shows with other mediums, and sometimes they're just so, like it's a job, like get it done. You're just like, I'm just, I'm gonna play. And you had slideshows too. Love the slideshows.
Yeah, I like putting there, because you know what I find is you're capturing the audience, but then I'll go to Joe Blogs and others are going, well, I don't know Joe Blogs and I don't know his life story and I don't know who's coming in, and I'm bored. So the screen behind them, I'm teaching them as well. So they're thinking, oh, I get that. I see feathers and I do. So it's capturing the audience, because otherwise it's like watching paint dry.
Was that your idea to do that?
Yeah, no, Spirit told me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
no, Spirit,
amazing.
you need to do something that's totally different to other mediums.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed, was you are different. I mean, everyone has their own unique style, but that's what yours was different, and yours was, I want to say, like, unique to you. That's why I was asking if that was kind of from you, your idea from Spirit, whatever.
No, it was my idea, my idea.
And you suify everything. You suify everything. Even in your teaching, we got a little booklet, and it was very you.
And people afterwards go, look, I didn't get a reading, but I've learned so much. I've learned so much in that PowerPoint that I didn't even know about, so It's good.
Well, we're here to educate people as well, and like we don't want people stepping into a room and going, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm not famous, I'm just Victoria Bond, but like you have got that a little bit of fame because you have been seen by a lot of people. You know, you are famous.
It's funny because I don't see that. I just see myself as like everybody else. I don't see it.
Do you notice it though from other people though? Like if someone acknowledges you or sees you when you go into the supermarket or that, so this is what I mean, like people don't know who I am, right? But when people do know I'm a medium, they're a little bit like, oh gosh, and I'm like, why did they just put up walls because they don't want me to read them? Or I'm like, I don't give a shit about reading them. So do you find that as well though, when people go, oh, they're so Nicholson, like do you get that?
I mean, there's times where, you know, you want to say something because I'm having a meal and they're taking pictures of me.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll walk by and they've got the camera there, you know, and sometimes they're in your own personal space. And I'm never ever rude to anybody. You know, some people go, can I shake your hand? I go, no, you have a hug. So I grab them, you know. Oh, thanks, you know, and I don't mind having my picture taken, but when I'm having a meal, and the one time I was in A&E, I get really bad bronchitis and I couldn't breathe. They're taking pictures of me. Oh. It was horrible in the A&E. And the nurse could see I was getting, I put my hood up and they move around to another seat. And she
was it like paparazzi or was it like legit people just wanting to take a photo?
No, just people in the A&E waiting room. You know, and pointing to me.
It's like, get a life.
Yeah, but anyway, the nurse came out. She said, I can see you. She said, this isn't right. Come with me and I'll put you in a cubicle. She said, I could see you getting really distressed. And I said, I don't feel well. You know what I mean? And yeah, but, you know, it's just the way they are. I've had to have pictures, you know, on the aeroplane with the air hostesses up the back, you know, and they'll give me an extra biscuit and people don't like it. They go, excuse me, you give her chippies and a biscuit. I asked you if I couldn't have it and you said no, and they said, well, I know her. So it's like, oh my God. Yeah, it's so funny.
That is so funny.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, you get the perks of the jobs as well. And they go, oh, come into, you know, the business classroom. I phoned Steve up and said, I'm in the business class here, having food.
Hey, goes, hey babe, I'll see you when we land. No, just kidding.
So funny. Yeah. It's so funny. I'll go, well, I'm in here eating. I'll come out in a minute. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's funny times, you know, and it counterbalances the sad times, really. Yeah.
And it's very much, I think the coolest thing, one of the coolest things I love now, even though I'm just kind of getting into this as my life purpose, is we get to live an extraordinary life. And we also get to understand the other side from spirit. Like I wake up every day and I feel so grateful. I wake up every day and I go, thank you. Because I got the deep understanding of when we were talking about the demons before and the energy clearing and attachments and ugly energy, because I can see energy. I got a deep understanding about that before I started channeling messages. Like it all came perfectly because I let it land that way. And I just feel so privileged to be having this conversation with you, to understand you as well, not going, oh, there's a medium. Like I understand, like it's just so beautiful. So what do you love so much about it?
We're all normal. I just think we're all more normal. If I met the Queen, I wouldn't be in awe of her. I think, oh, that's nice. But we're all equal. I don't think, you know, we all have our own energy and awe about ourselves. But I would never go, oh my God, you know, this, that, and the other. That's the way it is. But see, things, I don't know about you, but things come in, and if I don't capture them there and then, they fly back out. So I have to rewind. I have to rewind. But oh, sorry, Spirit's just telling me now what I was going to say. You working in this area, you have to know the dark before you can know the light.
That's why I was so dark, and then now I'm so light.
Yeah. So we had to know, you know, or see the dark side in many things. But I have been to the other side, so I know what I'm talking about and being there. You know, in my first book, and being there, and it's an amazing place. And so, you know, I help cancer patients as well. I talk to them and they're fearful of passing. And I talk to them about the other side and what happens. And, you know, they're really good. Yeah, so I'm helping. I give my time to people and help them with the cancer, because I kind of look at where the cancer is and where it's actually stemmed from, and I backtrack it.
Wow.
It's
That's
interesting.
fascinating.
A lady had, because I work with a medical doctor, he's Chinese doctor, and Dr. Ming, he's came from the Ming dynasty, right? He's really funny. Sometimes I can't understand him, he's Chinese, but anyway. And anyway, so I'm doing this email reading, and all of a sudden I saw this woman's husband flash, and I said, so your husband is still on earth. This is really important. I don't want to scare you, but there's a blockage here in his throat. My doctor said it's the esophagus. It is the esophagus. And she came back and she emailed me. She said, I said, he needs to see a doctor urgently. This is urgent now. And I said, it really is. I don't want to scare you, but we need to do something now. So anyway, she said, I asked my husband, and he said, oh, I just have a funny thing in my throat. I don't know if it's esophagus or what. So she said, well, this lady, the medium, said, you got to go straight away. Booked an appointment with the doctor, and the doctor sent him straight away to a specialist. He got esophagus cancer in the esophagus. And he said, I'm really glad you've come now. We can start working on it. So anyway, I'm doing counselling with him, etc. So anyway, she said, oh my God, thank you so much. And I said, I don't want him to worry. My doctor's just come in. And I said, he showed me a procedure, and they're going to put a stent in the esophagus. She said, I don't know, because we haven't seen, the specialist to see what they're going to do. She phoned me up. She said, exactly what you said. We're putting a stent in his esophagus. I don't know about a stent or whatever it is. And then I started channeling all the things that his body needed and all of this. And I said, I really need to look at where this cancer's come from. It's come from somewhere. So we went through, and I said, okay, I'm seeing you at the age of 6. A massive event happened when you were 6 years old. It threw you out, but I can see your father standing there. Your mother passed. His mother passed at 6 years old. I said, and everything's okay. And they're feeding me like a timeline. I'm watching him grow. And I said, between the age of, I think it was 11 to 13, your world completely changed. The wicked witch of the West came in. He goes, oh my God. I said, she was the most evil person. She wrapped your father around her little finger and completely changed your life. And I said, she wouldn't let you have any time with your father. You didn't go to his funeral, couldn't have his possessions, nothing. He burst out crying. And I said, you know where this stemmed from? You have never swallowed what she's done to you and couldn't say goodbye to your father. So I put him into a meditation, and his mother came in, and his father, and he handed him a watch. And I said, she's got a watch of his that should have been left to you. And yeah, he said, I know, but she won't let me have it. And, and she hates us all. So I said, this has to go. And he's getting better. They can't believe, he's had his first chemo, and I put him into a deep meditation, and his wife phoned me up and she said, oh my God, I don't know what you've done with Peter, but he's changed. His whole attitude has changed towards his cancer. And I said, he's going to make it. It's going to be fine.
Wow.
So I always find out where the problem has come from, because I'm a trained Louise Hay. I'm a teacher of Louise Hay. You can heal your life.
Oh, yeah. Wicked! I love that. This is why I said I think all mediums need to be life coaches, because I mean, I've never done anything that that profound. I'm not going to lie. That's intensely amazing. But I always kind of jump back and the numbers pop up and go, what happened at this age? Because it does help clean it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, because disease in our life causes disease. It goes to the weakest link, and that memory keeps bombarding it until you've got an issue and a problem. So what we do, we go into that cellular structure and memory and then release it. I can do it with animals as well.
Do
I
you
can.
talk to animals as well? Like, do you ask them questions and
Yes.
get the information?
A lady contacted me when I was in quarantine in Auckland. She said, please help me. I've got a decision to make to put my horse down. I said, can you send me a photograph? So she sent it me and I put my hand on it. And Spirit was talking to me about it. And all this information came up, how he was treated badly on this place. I said, she didn't tell me I said, he's a rescue horse, etc. I said, if I was looking at this horse as a human, that person would have killed itself by now. The depression, he's lost his soul. It's gone. It's gone. It's not. And I said, he's very dangerous. He's going to really hurt someone. And she teaches children. I said, I keep seeing children around. You've got to keep him away from children. He bucks, he kicks, and he bites. Very dangerous, right? And I said, he was so badly treated. He wants to go. She said, okay, I understand it now. And I said, he thanks you for the 8 months that you've been working with him, but he's lost his soul. It's gone.
Yeah.
So anyway, the next day I woke up and I saw him in front of me running in a field, and I phoned her up. I said, he's already gone. And she said, oh my God, it was terrible. I said, I saw him running in a field, so happy. She said, thank you, I can rest now. I said, he would have committed suicide if he was a human being.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So yeah, and people send me photos and I just put my hand on them and I see images and pictures and
so gifted.
Yeah.
And it's like a muscle, isn't it? The more you're doing it and it becomes
Yeah.
familiar. I've worked with a lot of, I had this whole bout of people, suicide people. I had a whole room where I am right now. I actually did a podcast on it with people that had committed suicide around me, talking to me, and I was channeling through what they were actually saying. And I just sat there and I thought, this is a I shouldn't be doing this. And I thought, who am I to shut these people up, because they have a voice now.
So they need to come through to tell their story. I get a lot of people say, why, our brother was amazing, our children, all this. You think he was amazing, and that's lovely. But in his own head, he'd lost his, and want to know why. And why did he do this? There's lots of reasons why people do it, because they can't face reality and they can't face their life.
Yeah.
And the thing, I was on stage once, and I'm not joking. They came in 4, and I heard the rifle going off. Boom.
Wow.
I'm going, oh my God, somebody's killed themselves over there. Hold on, in a field by the tree. He was a farmer. He killed himself. I said, because I went, I'm in a car. I've gassed myself. He's over there. One's from the tree in the garden, and another one came in and he slit his wrist. And I'm going, oh my God. I said, you're going to have to step back. I said, you're all coming in. I can't handle this one at a time. So I had the one with the rifle first, and I said, and I said to this woman, this is your father. And she said, yeah, he was a farmer and he shot himself down in on the paddock by a tree. And then, and it's like, oh, those ones are really heavy.
It's intense. It's really intense. And then you've got to go transmute all that energy. I know for me, they were standing around me talking, and I was able to help these people. And the really interesting thing, because I was brought up to believe that suicide was you're stuck in purgatory.
Yeah, because Catholics believe in that.
Yeah, and so I got all that stuff. But then I got told by the horse's mouth that, like, 2 of them stood next to me and said, we don't regret it, because we had to go. We didn't want to be here.
That's right, because the Bible has been rewritten for the public or the world as they see it, to control people. That's what it is. The real Bible, do you know where it is?
I can't remember, but
it's in the Vatican in Rome.
Yeah, I thought that, but I didn't want to say that because I was like, I don't. And am I remembering right?
It's locked away, because if it ever came out, it would change mankind of religion forever. It's been rewritten to control us. I'm a Christian, and I've seen Jesus many times, talk to God. Who is God? Is it male, female? But it's something. Yes. And when we're in our hour of need, we pray to someone and we're asking for help, right? It doesn't matter if you're religious or not, but people go, oh my God. Don't we? Oh my God. So if they didn't believe, then why are they saying, oh my God? It's my God, not some Joe Bloggs, it's mine. Oh my God. And so You know, it's there, but, you know, spirit calls an organised gang. They threaten you, you'll go to hell and damnation, and we want your money off you.
Yeah,
It's an organised.
It's crazy. And I know when I'm a Reiki master now, and I was a bit shocked because when I started tapping into some mediumship, because it was a total opposite of being how I was brought up, I literally was seeing Jesus everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, why am I seeing Jesus? Why am I seeing Jesus? I'm not religious. And now, do you know, the funny thing is, I just got this, the statue, no one can see it, but this Virgin Mary of my grandmother. I've got Mary on my neck, all these different things. And they like guide me. They guide me. I don't call myself a Christian because I've still got kind of, attachments of what that means with the separation and all that type of stuff. But for me, I've definitely got deep beliefs and whatnot. But you just see the lies all around, and I think everyone has their own belief system and what works.
Well, you have your own belief system. We believe in what we do. People may not believe in what we do, and that's okay. People believe in the vaccine and people don't, and that's okay. It makes the world go round, you know what I mean? It'd be boring if we all was the same thing and all thought the same thing and we all dressed the same. It'd be boring, but that's life, you know what I mean? It's a variety.
It's life. We have to have it. So so I have loved talking to you. You are the one of the most amazing, fascinating, gifted, bright and bubbly, down to earth people I've ever met in my world.
I won't get out the room in a minute.
That's right, you got a big house. You'll be fine. Just one last thing, what would, if you were to tell people one last message, those who are ready to expand their own superpowers and their own gifts, what would your advice be to them?
Well, I always say, first of all, you've got to find that space to be in with yourself, as in a meditation, you know, finding that quiet space and tapping in. Once we tap into that, and I'd say, like, knock the barriers down of, I can't do this, is this right, or that, whatever it is, and just be in that moment and say, okay, I'm ready for you to channel whatever you want to bring for me, hear, see, or feel, and be in that moment and let it come in. Don't sit there going, oh my God, what if it did? Just close your eyes, take some deep breaths, and just let it be.
Beautiful. And don't be scared. Don't be scared, people. People are like, what am I saying? I'm like, oh, for goodness sakes.
I say to people, I'm more scared of the living than the dead. The dead won't hurt.
I say that too. I'm like, I'm more scared of human beings. Human beings scare the shit out of me. If someone walks in my house, I'm like, ah! And also, where can we find you? Because I know you have got a few different spaces. I suppose people can just literally Google Sue Nicholson and it's all going to come up.
Well, I've got on Facebook, I've got psychic medium Sue Nicholson. And I got lots of things on there. I channel information as well. It's quite interesting. Like my manager will go, can you do some readings on this and that? And I go, yeah, okay. So it's like, I may have a card spread, but they're not the card spreads. They're nobody's cards. I'm just getting pictures. But behind it is a totally different thing. So I always say to people, take 4 deep breaths, breathing in, breathing out, and a number will flash. You know, usually we have 6 of them, but they're not the cards that you can buy. They're nobody's cards. It's just an image that I'm putting. Like, it might be 6 animals, but behind it, you think you're choosing the leopard, and it's not the leopard. It's totally different. Do you see what I mean? And they're amazed at what they get. So I will be going on there because there was one up there for Egyptian, and I've channeled all the information, and people go, oh my God, I don't know how I got that. It's not me, it's them choosing the right number and just believing that that number is flashing and that's the one they're meant to have. You know, things like that. So they can go on my, you know, my Facebook page. It's there. Yeah, so I do lots of things on there. Yeah, so, but I do have a website, www.suenicholson.co.nz. And no, sorry, thank you for the spirit. They just said .com.
I'm a .nz, that's where you probably got that from.
From there, yeah. So just going on there, but I've got webinars and I teach you psychic development for beginners, and there's everything on there. And you know, there's 4 of those, and you go into section. It's like I'm sitting with you, training you. you know, with
Wow.
everything, doing some really, taking you to your past lives, 3 past lives
Mm.
of who you were before you came here, going to see the archangels and all the archangels and everything, you know, there's readings, there's pendulums, I balance your chakras, dowsing, oh my God, there's so much in there, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Numerology, the whole lot, and they're only $29.
Wow, that is ridiculous. That is amazing. Go check
Yes.
that out, everybody. That is so
Yeah.
cool.
So
Oh,
that's,
wow.
but there are free meditations in there as well for nothing that they can
Mm.
download as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
if I knew that stuff 5 years ago when I started awakening, if I knew that there was all of this stuff and I just had to pay $29, I'd be like, okay, I'm down on that. And also people can go deeper with you. I know every now and then you put up I'm doing some readings, so they can purchase readings. So keep an eye on Sue's
Yeah.
pages and check her out. Thank you so much. This has been
That's all right.
delightful. And
Yeah.
we
Victoria,
will
for
talk to you
having me
soon.
on here. It's been great talking to you. It's really good to talk with another like-minded person who knows what we're talking about.
Yes,
You know,
rather than having to, people sometimes want the details so detailed that you're like, actually, it's about expanding your mind and going, what else is possible?
yeah, and doing that. Yeah. Okay. Well, you have a great rest of your day. I should know that, shouldn't I? People go, I go, you should know. I should know that because you're psychic. Yeah. Have a great day because I know.
Oh,
Yeah. All right.
thank you, everybody. We'll
All
catch
right.
you
Thanks.
later. Thank you. Bye.